Hey guys, welcome to another Ranger Legacy vlog. This time we're going to be talking about my top 5 specialty slash auxiliary rangers. And the newest series we go to, I will tell you, is Samurai slash Super Samurai, I guess, technically. So, as we all know, every season, I'm pretty sure, there's at least one. Some seasons there's up to like 5. Like, if you remember Jungle Fury, we got the Wolf Ranger, the Rhino Ranger, and the 3 Phantom Rangers in that season. Mighty Morphin, technically, I guess you could say the Alien Rangers were all auxiliary rangers. But what I want to talk about is my top 5 that I have seen personally. And I did see the Alien Rangers. I wasn't impressed by that series. And as I understand it, it was an entirely separate series from Zyu Rangers in the Sentai version. But what I want to talk about is my top 5 personal Rangers. And if you don't agree with this list, let me know in the comments. If you agree with the list, let me know in the comments. If you want to make your own video, go ahead. But here's my top 5 specialty Rangers. Coming in at number 5 is Antonio, who is the Samurai Gold Ranger. Now, I've always, enjoyed the Gold Rangers ever since Jason came in as what should have technically been the Black Zeo Ranger, but they called him the Gold Zeo Ranger. And Antonio in particular, because he was a fisherman and he wanted to be a chef. And me personally, that's my ultimate career goal, is to become a chef or a bakery owner or something. So Antonio's story as a fisherman slash chef stuck out to me as something that interested me. That being said, I didn't really care for Samurai at all. I don't even think I watched all of Samurai. There was quite a few Samurai episodes I never seen. We will get to them, though, when I get to Samurai in this vlog. My number 4 favorite auxiliary ranger is the SPD Shadow Ranger, which was their mentor, and it was the humanoid wolf. I can't remember his name. I think it was Doggy something. But it was the fact that he often said he was non-violent, like the whole series of SPD. And all of a sudden, this ranger shows up. And it turns out to be their mentor, and he can actually fight better than they can. Honestly, I mean. And there was also, if you remember in SPD, there was the Orange Ranger that called herself the Cat Ranger. That was the doctor or something that worked with SPD. I can't remember what she was. But that's my number 4. Number 3 is actually a tie between the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Green and White Ranger, portrayed by Tommy Oliver, portrayed by Jason David Frank. Now, Tommy Oliver will show up again in the top 2 of this list. But I want to explain why the Green and White ranked so middle ground on the list, which is because I liked him as the White Ranger. He had more character development, honestly, as the White Ranger. But I didn't like him as the Green Ranger for the fact that even after he wasn't evil, he was still like an arrogant prick. He wouldn't help them unless he needed to. And yes, there's some of you out there probably familiar with the Sentai version of the Green Ranger, which was every time he used his powers, the candle started burning. And it wasn't just like Tommy when it was the 2-part Green Candle episode. This was the whole arc for the Green Ranger in Sentai, and that's why he wasn't in the fight scenes in Sentai, was because the more he used his powers. And eventually he did, as I'm coming to understand, die in the Sentai footage. And that was him losing his powers in the American footage. But that's my number 3. Number 2 is everybody's favorite Mighty Morphin Red Ranger. Sorry to the guy who played Rocky, but you weren't that good. Was Jason as the Zeo Gold Ranger. And the reason I like the Zeo Gold Ranger is, honestly, it's the first time I can remember when it wasn't a crossover. That we didn't even have crossovers at that time, I don't think, except for the fact that some of the Zeo guys were Mighty Morphin guys. But it was the first real technical, I guess you could say, crossover when we brought Jason into Zeo. Because we hadn't seen him since when Rocky, Aisha, and Adam came in to replace Trini, Zach, and Jason, which If you know the backstory there, it was because they were fighting for equal wage or higher wages for everybody, and they basically got outed. They got fired because of it, and that's why they had the whole peace conference thing. But it was the fact that he had depth as a fighter, and they had it somehow like magical. It was almost like you started to see the flower of Mystic Force with Jason's version of the Gold Ranger. And finally, my number one auxiliary ranger is Tommy Oliver as Dr. Oliver, the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. Now, I just like this because we hadn't seen Tommy for years at this point. And when he showed up as just Dr. Oliver, as their mentor, I lost my mind. I remember screaming, Tommy's back. And then all of a sudden, he's a ranger again with this black charger, or black thunder morpher. And it was one of the best things as a kid that remembered when Tommy came into the show years before this to see. And I was glad they were kind of trying to introduce the new viewers and younger kids to the older Rangers. And that's why I really like Tommy as the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. And later on, when we eventually, for a long time it's going to be before we do this, when we eventually get to Megaforce, the Super Mega Battle, when Tommy came back with Saba the White Ranger's sword, but he was the Green Ranger in the battle, which didn't make sense to me. But that's all for my top 5 auxiliary Rangers. And I will tell you, every so many videos of the show, I am going to do a video. My next video of a top 5 is going to be my top 5 Yellow Rangers. Now, Yellow Rangers can be guys or girls because we did have a history of Yellow Guy Rangers in the show. And I will tell you right now, it's going to be an interesting list. And if you don't agree with it, I don't know that many Yellow Rangers. But if you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. And the next video I'm going to do, that's not a top 5 video, is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Episode 1, Day of the Dumpster. Which we're going to have a lot to probably say about that episode. So, I will see you in the next video. And as always, may the power protect you.